We are back on Inside Politics today. Our guest is Keel Hunt. He's a columnist for the Tennessee and is also a blogger. Keel, a lot of us may be going to family events over the Labor Day weekend. Is social distancing by 6 feet going to be enough to keep us from staying away from political disagreements with maybe other people in our family who we know don't agree with the same kind of politics we do?
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, I used to worry about Thanksgiving dinner around the table and how much are we going to veer over into politics. And I guess I have kind of a political family for that matter, and that's always it's never a surprise. But I don't worry about that like I did early in the Trump administration, where people get so extreme. I think what is most important now, you know, 70, 80 days out from the election, is that we all get an understanding of what we individually believe and how we're going to vote. And if there's any, you know, trouble, I mean, I can see the point of view that we want to avoid that kind of conversation around picnics and dinners and so forth over the Labor Day weekend. But I think we're getting down to the crunch. And I think if anybody has any doubt, anybody has any strong feelings, particularly fact-based, you know, and to the extent anybody else in the family, you know, has a non-fact-based belief, it's good to ferret that out now and not later and wish we had.
You worked for Senator Lamar Alexander when he was governor of Tennessee. He's had a reputation throughout his career being a protege of Howard Baker, being someone who's from time to time worked across the aisle. With his leaving Washington, do you believe that an end of an era is coming in Tennessee and maybe in national politics about working across the aisle?
Well, I hope it's not, Pat, but it may well be. You know, we almost think of Baker and Alexander in the same breath, and they actually learned from each other. Certainly, Senator Baker was in office in the U.S. Senate before Alexander was. But I think they learned from each other, and it was a very productive mode of operating. You know, the sort of fog surrounding the last 3 or 4 years in Washington with the Trump administration, it prevents a lot of us from remembering how the Alexander years as governor were. You know, I mean, that was an extraordinary time, and a lot was accomplished, and it did involve Republicans and Democrats working at a very high level together. And I hope we've not seen the end of that, but the last Senate race here in Tennessee, the current Senate race, are suggesting that it's all about how close the candidate is to Trump and his way, and that's not enough. It's not enough. And we'll see what happens. But my hope is that elected leaders can see their duty and their purpose is much higher than any one politician, even if it's the president.
You had the great good fortune during your career to also work with the late editor and publisher of the TENNESSEAN, John Sigenthaler. What do you think John would say today about the discord in our country, about the gridlock, and about this whole situation that we're facing with this election?
I think he would bellow to high heaven at what we're seeing now. And it has nothing to do with being a Democrat or Republican. It has to do with getting things done. You know, when I think of our last few elections in Tennessee, the idea of someone being elected with no experience in government, in public service, seems like a fun idea until it's not. And we then see what has been lost in terms of working in the public arena. It's not, I mean, you don't run business government like a business. I mean, that's kind of the saying that you hear too much about. It's not business. It's not a for-profit enterprise. You know, the whole current notion about what is wrong with the U.S. Postal Service is driven so much about that. Well, it's a service. It's that the government provides. It's in the Constitution, and you know, and we need to understand the public service part of public of work in government is so important.
Keel, thank you so much for being on the program today. I guess your final word would be ready for a difficult couple of 2 months, and election day extending maybe well into a month or longer.
Yes, vote. Make your plan now to vote. I mean, try to get past this postal service chaos and do what you can. And then on election, what we would used to think of as election night, November 3rd, just hold your fire and let all the votes be counted.
Keel, thank you so much for being on the program. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Pat. It's always a pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on Inside Politics this week. Hope you'll be back here again for a future show. If you can't enough politics in the meantime, go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. The new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you back here next time. Goodbye.